Welcome back for the final time to the University of Staffordshire for Trent on track. It is time for a grand finals. It is time for a rematch between Geese Can Fly and Moonveil. Let me hear you in the arena for our grand finals. All right, I heard you all at Spoons last night. I know you can do better than that. Let's hear it for the grand finals and our two teams. Thank you very much. Orion, I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a banger.
I'm getting a bit of deja vu though, Nua. We've been here before in the upper finals, haven't we? Geese Can Fly, only 2 hours ago, won this matchup 3-1.
Yep.
And you're going to tell me why it's going to be different this time?
Well, see, the thing is, what we know is Geese Can Fly just pick their maps at random, so they're going to pick the wrong map at random, and it's going to go terribly from there on out.
I mean, we look at the last map, they picked a Soccer Not Football, immediately lost 12-6 to Moonveil, so not the best start for them. They managed to come back on Wildfire, Flower of the Ground, and Peak. Arguably their best map, a Flower of the Ground. They say they pick randomly, but potentially they have to look at these maps and go, yes, we had the advantage the most on a Flower of the Ground. I mean, Epos said that he hated playing that map, or no, that wasn't that map. Anyway, that was Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
Maybe they picked Perfect Blue, because that was the only time they played it in that previous match.
This is the issue, right? I mean, what Epos actually said there as well was that I think we have a lot more pace on Perfect Blue. It was more lamenting the fact that they didn't get clean runs in. It was the map that in that match they had the most chance to improve on in the future. We'll wait and see what the choices are, because it's Geese Can Fly with the first pick. They went with it Soccer Not Football in the upper bracket final. I personally do think they probably should choose something else, given how good their opponents have looked on that. And they will, in fact, go for Perfect Blue, potentially either picking at random or betting on the fact that, yeah, it did look very crashy for their opponents in their last match.
Yeah, I mean, two things can happen, right? It can be a genius pick where Epos and Divinio haven't really played it that often, or like Epos said, there's more on the table. They could come to regret it, but now it is going to be Moonveil with their two picks. What do they go for here? Moonveil's strongest map?
Soccer Not Football, maybe. I think that'd be solid. Or you leave that for pick 3. They'll go with Peak, and then possibly Soccer Not Football as pick 3. Seems like a reasonable choice for them. Or you do deliberately leave that. You know, you leave that to fall to map 4 and 5, and you say, look, we're going to get to map 4 and 5. We have the skill to get that far. They are in discussion about it at the moment, and they will pick a Flower of the Ground in the end. It's fair. It's what they've been doing all tournament long, putting that in position 3 and then betting on themselves.
Yeah, interestingly, Peak, Geese Can Fly actually won that map earlier. It was 10-8 though, so it was a closely fought affair. And Peak wasn't actually played at all in their victory over Evo, so they haven't played that in match recently. It's quite a wild card there. But a Flower of the Ground being picked, we know that Epos is solid on that. Divinio also put together some pretty decent rounds.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting. Do you still think 3-1? Do you still think ultimately Boz and Jadon are going to be insurmountable here, or do you think
so badly? I want the game 5 so badly. We haven't had one yet. We haven't had an overtime yet either. Come on,
no, we haven't.
This out. We're running out of matches where it could happen. We'll wait and see how it goes down in this one. I think, look, 3-1, 3-2 both feel like reasonable answers as to how this is going to go. And both teams, it kind of feels reasonable to say them to it. I will say Geese Can Fly, that combo of Boz and Jadon, have looked lethal all weekend long.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Boz maybe had a bit of a fumble in day 1, but look back to his normal self here on day 2 when the stakes are highest. Jadon equally has looked almost on par with Boz, which is kind of crazy. We can't really say that about many players. Epos, Wizzy on a really good day, but yeah, Jadon just continues the ascendancy towards the top of the BITM ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really fun to see over the course of this tournament as well. And I mean, you can see them there. Everyone locked in on stage as we get ready for map 1. One of the things we didn't talk about there with the pick ban is Wildfire dropping to map 5. Given how early that has gone in the picks the entire weekend long, it's consistently been one of the first 3 maps. Wildfire as a potential decider, I think, is fascinating. We'll see when we get there, if we get there. But for now, we get ready for Perfect Blue for our first map of the grand finals, looking for the title of Trent on Track champion, holder of the British Irish Trackmania LAN title for as long as it takes for us to organize another one, which, hey, could be a while at this point. You know, it's a good time to get it if you can. There they are. There's our players. We're on to track to kick off our grand finals.
Round 1, grand final on a Perfect Blue, a map which we did not see featured in that upper bracket final, but 2 early mistakes coming through for Divino, and Jadon dropping over half a second behind. Epos with a small mistake as well, and Bozbez is going to power on through, carry that speed through. So a shaky round for 3 out of 4 players to start things off here.
Shake out the nerves, get the jitters out. One bad round, that's fine, as long as it doesn't continue into the next rounds. And we will wait and see how things look when we get to the finish line here, because there is always the potential in these very spread out rounds for more mistakes to come through and for things to switch up still. Boz leads the way from 2 members of Moonveil. The gap about a second between every position out on track at the moment, and everyone getting the quarter pipe cleanly. It looks like Epos has dropped back behind Divino as well. But this should be fine. I honestly think pretty much everyone can just afford to go safe finish based on the gaps. Bozbez does go risky, finishes it out. Epos will finish in 3rd, and Jadon finishes in 4th. It's a draw in round 1, and hopefully next round we actually get to see the cars on the same screen together at some point.
Yeah, that was a really messy round to start things off, but it doesn't really favour either side. Both teams just having equal mistakes and an equal scoreline. 1 point apiece awarded at the end of that round, and we'll see if we can have a couple of clean rounds going forward. This one so hotly contested as we go through these first couple of tech turns. It does seem like Jadon and Boz have a slight lead, but Divino coming back with more speed here. All 4 cars separated by only a 1/10 of a second as we go through the NASCAR section. Nobody clipping the outside. I say that Divino sticks the tyre on the left-hand side, and he's going to be dropping back. Jadon 7/10 back, Divino further behind. Bozbez now has to try and chase down Epos. Right now it would end in a draw and favour neither team. Does Boz send the quarter pipe? Yes, he does, and he's right behind Epos here as we go into the final section.
Yeah, 1 turn left to go, both of them looking fairly similar to each other. Epos with slightly better exit speed, just needs to hit the finish, will do so. Boz in 2nd, Jadon in 3rd, and it is a 2nd draw as Boz does get a PV online, at least in that round. After 2 rounds, nothing to separate them. But I will say Divino's NASCAR turn looked nearly incredible. I mean, went from 4th to 2nd momentarily, and then unfortunately was just trying to take a little bit too much out of it.
Yep, just carried a little bit too much speed, but ultimately the mistake was not that costly. We have another draw here, another stalemate. No team yet to really kind of stake their claim and get that ace or the victory and just eke out the gap in the series. Epos in the lead. As we go through the NASCAR, you could just hear them feathering the throttle there. All 3 players in the lead. Divino only 2/10 back, so still in contention. Could all be decided in the quarter pipe jump.
Yeah, although that was a rough turn for Epos. Lost 2.5 tenths in 1 turn. Now needs to risk this quarter pipe. Trying to go low. Definitely gets lower than Jadon. Has made up a lot of that ground. 1 final drift to go. Epos starting very early, looking for as much exit speed as possible. He's got so much exit speed. He's got the positions. He takes 1st place. And that's another draw, but by far the most exciting one yet.
Epos went into that last turn a 1/10 or 2 behind, made it all up in the speed, and it's so difficult to thread the needle in that final section. You have so much speed, and Apex is coming at you so quickly. Epos manages to navigate them with the maximum speed possible and secure yet another draw. We've had 3 draws in a row, Nua, but this is by no means a boring match so far.
Divino with a clip. Yeah, they are getting qualitatively better, the draws, as we go on as well. That was a very exciting draw. But Epos will have to do it again as Divino has dropped a few 10ths down. Great exit from Epos. Jadon will get great speed out of the end there, releasing right in the middle of that turn. Has left them in a very nice position. And this time around, Epos a lot better on this reactor grass section, and gaining rather than losing towards this quarter pipe. Going quite narrow on that exit and jumping very low indeed. Should get Jadon here. Might get Boz before we even get to this turn. Starting to drift a little bit later than Boz this time around. It should be good speed from Boz out of the corner. It's great speed from Jadon as well. Jadon goes safe. Boz will hit the finish, and Epos with a clip still makes it in. So it's a round win for Geese Can Fly. It looked like it was going to be an ace.
I mean, fair enough though. If Jadon didn't think he was going to make the finish, they still get the victory. Divino was close behind, and it could have been yet another draw. So they do go 1 point ahead in a match that's so close. I mean, if it's draws from here, Geese Can Fly ultimately win the match, although Divino, another mistake. The mistakes are starting to creep in more frequently for Divino, and we need to see him driving those quick rounds. We need to see him up with Epos. Right now, Jadon and Boz, their pace looks almost equal. So Divino needs to be matching that or exceeding that to really try and advance Moonveil up in the points.
Yeah, Jadon again with a great exit from the NASCAR turn, and Epos following almost exactly the same line into the reactor grass, but Jadon gets a nice exit from that as well. So into the quarter pipe we go. Davino only a few tenths behind at this. If anyone makes a mistake like that from Boz, it's a touch. He has survived slow on the exit though. There is still a chance Davino could catch, but there is still a battle up front as well. It's Epos with speed out of the exit. It'll be safe in for Boz. Davino's a chance, but it's just a little bit too far away. So it's another draw as Jadon gets a PB on the round.
PB in the round, but still not enough to beat Epos, who drove within 2/10 of world record. But the gap remains at 1. We've had, what, 4 draws now and 1 victory?
Yes.
It could not be closer in the grand final. Even with Davino making mistakes, it still feel like Moonveil have taken a step up in this grand final relative to the upper final that we saw.
Absolutely, and I mean, one ace for either team is going to swing this immediately if it ends up happening. Davino, much better start this time around and looking for a good exit. Does survive the exit to the NASCAR turn as well. Carries good speed, but ends up a little bit high on that turn, and so will drop a couple of tenths down. But Epos is still pushing. Both members of Geese can fly. It is the 1v2 up front as everyone enters the quarter pipe. Epos with a little bit of a clip is going to drop back down, and this is looking like it could be a map-deciding ace. It could be breaking the camel's back on this one, as both members of Geese Can Fly will make it to the finish. Both of them PB, and they are within 9 thousandths of each other. I mean, Epos has been applying huge pressure to them, and they have turned like it's coal into diamond stuff right now. They are not cracking under that pressure.
Yeah, but that is mental. You know, what we're seeing is 2 players that are essentially equal now.
Yeah.
Boz and Jadon, they're so good. There's no one that is better than the other, but they're at the Epos level kind of thing. So if Epos does even make the slightest mistake, Davino is just not able to maintain that pace at the moment. Another clip there. You can tell how hard he's pushing though.
Yeah.
Like they're driving with a 2/10 of world record. Davino has to send it, has to really push those turns.
Yep.
And is ultimately just falling foul. Epos doing everything that he can, and then the one round that he makes the mistake, it's punished immediately by Jadon and Boz driving PB pace.
So this could be it. Just one driver in the top 2, and with Davino respawning in the background, I think that's all she wrote. It can be safe in for both members of Geese Can Fly. They might as well send one to the risky if they're feeling it as well. But Epos will win the round. Jadon will cross the line in 2nd place. Nearly got sniped by a teammate, but it does mean that the map goes to Geese Can Fly. They start things off right in the grand final, 1-0.
Yeah, Epos with a PB in that final round as well. So you know Epos has the pace. He just needs his teammate backing him up, and Boz and Jadon are doing that every round. I don't even think we saw, we didn't see a major mistake from Boz or Jadon for every single round. And we played so many rounds on that as well because there were so many draws. So for them to just be that consistent and that consistently fast, yeah, that was a stunning performance there from Boz and Jadon on Geese Can Fly. Can they keep it up here? They could even go one better and get that 3-0 in the grand final. That really would be the slam dunk, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's to go away and practice for a couple of hours as the lower bracket played out and then come back in 3-0, you know, make it perfect at that point would be really impressive. Again, I don't want it to happen. I would much prefer that we see a close final, that we get a few more maps in. And for that, we do need Moonveil. It has to be said, unfortunately, Davino in particular, to kind of step up a little bit. With that said, I mean, it's not like Epos is having his own way of it at the front as well. Epos is being pushed by both members of Geese Can Fly.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
Like, Epos, Boz, Jadon, I think if we put this into like a 1v1v1 situation, nobody would be able to call it.
Yeah.
You know, it would maybe be split. Yeah, it would be split evenly. I wouldn't pick a clear favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we get ready then to head on into peak. Surprise! Here's the players as well. So everyone's still looking pretty calm. Everyone, you know, no one visibly kind of sweating, nerving, shaking.
Apart from us.
Apart from us, I'm shaking all the time. I am tweaking out of my mind at how excited I am for this finals. And I'm having a great time so far. We're on to map 2, and it is going to be on peak. That 360 towards the end going to be so decisive in so many of these rounds.
See what happens. I remember Previously, it was Divino making a couple of mistakes here, but driving a fairly clean round so far, holding that third place just about in front of Jadon. Epos with a thin lead over Bozbez, but all 4 players have made it as far as the Ice 360. We'll see which one of them is able to carry the speed through, maintain that pace advantage. It is going to be Boz out front, Epos with similar pace, so it could still be decided in the last drift. We saw Boz struggle slightly on the exit here. Does have a better exit this time. It's very close. Is it going to be equal? It's 6,000ths over the line. 2/10 off world record. What a round to start things off.
Yeah, that's a GR in the chat for sure on that round. Absolutely incredible at the end, and a relatively rare round, it feels like, on Peak as well, where people are that close heading into the final drift. I mean, interestingly as well, they took different approaches into that final drift and still ended up really even, both of them trying different things to just edge out that small advantage. This is a chance maybe for Moonveil to get a little bit of an advantage this time around. It was a slower start from Jadon, but has caught straight back up over that grass, looking really quick on this middle sector.
Yeah, I mean, we highlighted him. Divino drove a great round there, kept it close. Ultimately, Geese Can Fly did get the victory and only a 1-point swing, but all 4 players are making it again. Boz is on crazy pace right now. If he can get the exit here, this might be an absolutely insane time. Goes very wide on the exit, but carries an insane amount of speed through. Dropping slightly there, probably had to release a little bit. Divino, 2nd place. Epos in 4th right now. What is the time going to be from Boz? It's a 50.5, 2/10 off world record again. Close round, but another victory for Geese Can Fly.
Back-to-back 50.5s from Bozbez, and a great round as well, has to be said, from Jadon. After, you know, kind of falling behind a little bit at the start, did drive a very good round after that to overtake Epos and very nearly catch up to Divino as well. Score sits at 4-2 in favor of Geese Can Fly. They are starting to extend their lead a little bit on this map. If they can get another round win here, maybe even the ace, as Jadon is full on in the wall, and it's up to Boz now to try and deny an ace back the other way for Moonveil. Looking potential, looking maybe not likely as Boz tries to fend off Divino, but it is definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, ace here from Moonveil would be huge, would move them up to 5-4. Boz seems to be fairly comfortable with the ice slide. We'll see how he takes it this time. Epos very close to Divino clipping as well. Unfortunate mistakes from both Moonveil players there. Paves the way for Boz to take victory in the round and stem the bleeding just to draw. Epos falling back. Jadon much further behind though, so Epos does opt for that safe finish, and a draw it is, Nua.
Yep, and it's another 50.5 for Boz. I mean, he's been very quick the entire way along. With that in mind, I mean, both Divino and Epos were on very good pace in that run, right up until the 360 as well. So the pace is there for Moonveil. They just need to put a round together. They just need to start getting those wins, and maybe even an ace would be very helpful for them. But that was their opportunity, it felt like, with Jadon falling all the way behind, with Epos sitting in first. The fact that they have walked away with no gain on their opponents feels a little bit rough.
Yeah, a little bit rough indeed, but we go into yet another round here. Bozbez taking an early lead. Epos and Divino following. Divino is having a great map so far, just given how inconsistent he's been. That's a mistake from Boz though. And now it is up to Jadon to try and deny this ace. See how the ice slide goes for all the players. Epos currently in 3rd. Divino actually carries the best speed out of there. Jadon just behind, is being caught. A little bit of airtime there for Divino. Final drift is very important. Epos goes a little bit wide and Boz isn't too far back either. Divino does make it into the finish in 1st place. Great round from him. 50.5 from Divino this time, stepping up and backing up his teammate. They get a win.
Yeah, Divino carrying that round, gets the team back within a single point. So it's 2 round wins for Geese Can Fly, 1 round win for Moonveil is the difference in points on this track at the moment. And we're getting very close to that point where teams will be on track point. You'd love to see Moonveil win this one just for keeping the match close, but it's going to be difficult for them if they end up dropping the ace here. Jadon sits in first, Bozbez in 2nd. Epos with an early drift does manage to sneak past Bozbez and hold the speed at the same time, but Bozbez not giving up the position without a fight. As we round the corner to the 360, this is going to be decisive. This is a moment in the final that could make or break it all. It's a crash from Divino. It's Epos with great speed overtaking Jadon, who's moving slowly. Epos trying to chase down Boz as well up the track. Epos still carrying that speed around the final corner, is going to make it not quite to 1st place, and it is a first for Boz. Jadon in 3rd, and Geese Can Fly move to 8 points, while Moonveil don't even get to 7. They will not get the track point of their own, and Geese Can Fly are now sitting in position to make this final feel very, very difficult to win for Moonveil.
Oz is just looking robotic at the moment. 50.5s like it's absolutely nothing. 8-6 now, and we're on Moonveil's pick as well. Mistake from Divino is going to make things very difficult for Epos. He's going to have to hold his nerve here and try and drive a 50.5 of his own. That's all I can think at this point is what can deny Boz. Jadon closing up on Epos as well, though, just has to maintain this first place. So important here.
So close to the outside wall on the dirt there. Epos is trying to take everything he can out of the track, and that'll include on the 360. Jadon just behind. Boz only a couple of tenths down as well. Epos has slid out. Epos has managed to survive. Boz slides out in the outside wall as well, but that's going to be a first place for Jadon. Divino at least is here. This is looking all of a sudden like a draw from a winning position for Moonveil. Jadon in first, Epos second. Divino does take third, and Boz with an uncharacteristic fourth place means we are at 9-7. It's ace or nothing for Moonveil.
A slight mistake from Divino somewhere, but a bigger one from Boz. Is 9-7 track point for both teams. This feels like it could be a turning point in the series. If Geese Can Fly take this, I feel like they are the overwhelming favourites. Reverse sweeps, we haven't even seen a Game 5 all weekend long. A reverse sweep would be unheard of. But Moonveil, if they get the ace here, bring it to 1-1, completely different game.
Yep, and they've started, oh, that corner from Boz is incredible. It's a double respawn from Divino. That's it, it's done. I think hope's dashed of the comeback for Moonveil here on Peak. They just need to survive. They might even get the ace. Let's see how the 360 ends up. It looked clean for at least one player. Jadon a little bit slower, but Bozbez is up front behind Epos, rounding the final corners, but it doesn't matter. They just need a second place. They'll secure the second place, and it will be Geese Can Fly moving up to 2-0 in the grand finals.
It's looking good for them, Nua. It's looking good for Geese Can Fly. Divino put together some great rounds, didn't he? But ultimately, it was the high-pressure one where he ended up faltering.
Yeah.
The pressure's so great. It's the end of the line, Nua. This is the business end of the bracket. It's do or die. Moonveil at this point, if they want to be victorious in the grand final, need to win 3 games in a row that against a team that so far has looked almost faultless.
Yeah. So let's map it out from where we are right now. 2-0 on the first 2 maps, and we move now to Flower of the Garden, which is a map that, you know, we have seen Moonveil be confident on. Divino, I think, has looked quite good on that map in general. Definitely a winnable map for them in this moment. And then map 4, a map that Divino has also looked very good on and that Epos has looked great on. We'd move on to soccer, not football. So I can see the path. I can see the route that we could take for Moonveil to at least bring us to a Game 5, at which point, you know, maybe things get a little bit questionable in Game 5. But there's a path. It starts with them playing well on a Flower of the Garden. Worst case scenario is they give up a win or an ace in round 1. I think they need to be the first team to win a round on this map.
Yeah, I think as well, this is probably where Moonveil have their strongest team performance.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily Epos's strongest map.
Yeah.
But Epos and Divino as a duo, yes. I think that this is the map where together they operate at their best. Is that going to be enough to beat the duo of Boz and Jadon? Possibly not. I feel like Epos can definitely win rounds against Boz and Jadon here, but can they get those victories? Can they get those aces?
Yeah.
Feels like it could be a little bit out of reach, but I would love to see it.
Well, we will have to wait and see how things play out. We are on track. This is track 3, and it is Geese Can Fly looking to close out a grand finals in 3-0 fashion and take the title of the British and Irish Trackmania land champions here on Trent on track. Divino up alongside at the moment, and Jadon falling a little bit back towards Epos, who was sitting in 4th for a little while there. Bod's very high on the entry to the dirt, might have good speed on the uphill part of it here, but Epos is on outside dirt, and Epos is gaining. Divino going for that re-grip line, and this time around it has not worked, as that is a large time loss for Divino. Boz, though, will no slide onto the inside of that corner and is right back behind Divino again. Jadon and Epos, this exit so easy to clip on the outside, both of them surviving. A couple of turns left to go. Epos leads the way. Divino sits in 3rd. This could be that all-important round win, but here's the speed down the hill from Jadon, and at the line it's Jadon by 7 thousandths.
Beautiful snipe there from Jadon. Looked like he'd just fallen behind at the last drift, but was able to carry the speed down the hill with that reactor. And it was just enough, 7 thousandths at the line to pip Epos and secure yet another draw. I lost count of the amount of draws we've seen, but it's just testament to how close both of these two teams are.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awkward for Divino. I don't think a full clip, but definitely a release, a readjustment on the corner. Lost him just a couple of car lengths there ultimately, but I mean, that's what's decided some of these rounds. 7 thousandths in the last round for first place. That's a lot more than 7 thousandths, although, hey, you have reactors, so it's not the end of the world. But Divino continues to fall away from the front pack of 3 in this round.
Epos leading the way yet again, tailed by Bozbez. Jadon not far behind either. We're seeing this every round. Boz and Jadon just driving so close together, and if there's any kind of mistake from Epos out front, they are there. They are ready to pounce. Boz fully inside on the drift, but Epos carrying more speed. Jadon overtaking his teammates slightly there. Epos just not quite clipping on the exit. Boz full send in the end. I thought he'd clip there, but he's going to carry insane speed through. Does he have the victory? Yes, he does. 59.955, a PB from Boz. I feel like that's not his PB though. Come on, like, he's got a 0.6 in his locker somewhere offline.
Yeah, we are map 3 of the grand finals, and the Goose is most definitely loose. The Geese are lease, I guess. Both
they are flying. Geese can in fact fly.
Geese can fly. They have been flying on pace, and this round, maybe again, you know, it's a round win. Although that's the full clip from Bozbez, re-overtaken by Divino up front. 9 thousandths at the last checkpoint between Jadon and Epos, and it's going down, not up. But that's a crash from Epos, and this could be disaster. Divino is there though this time around, and Boz is still just that little bit further behind. But Epos cannot afford another mistake. Divino can't afford a mistake at this point. They need to hold on to this draw at least.
Yeah, here's where Divino needs to step up. Just try and secure the draw at this point. Jadon is too far away, don't need to push it. The regrip line works this time, carries the speed through, keeps Epos and Boz behind him. Last couple of turns, it's just that tight section here that I'm a little bit worried about. Epos is closing up. Divino safing Boz a 10th or so behind. I think they've done enough at this point. Only a couple of turns left. Haven't seen too many mistakes at the end here, and it looks like they have done enough, securing the draw once again.
Yeah, happy enough with that. You know, I mean, when Epos makes a mistake for this team, I think, you know, you're saying, right, great, if we can take a draw, we'll take it, you know. So to be able to hold on to that, keep their point deficit at 1, they're feeling okay. But Geese can fly. I mean, they move up to 4 points now. If there is a mistake from Moonveil, if they give away the ace, all of a sudden Geese can fly are sitting very pretty on this map and in this match. First mistake of the round is from Boz. Not really a major one, just dropping a car length behind at this moment, and plenty of track left to catch up on that. There's a mistake from Divino, and again, pressure on Epos's shoulders.
Lot of pressure on Epos' shoulders, but if anyone's going to deal with it, you have to say it's him. He thrives under pressure, drives those world records under pressure, as we've seen him do multiple times. Don't think this one is world record, as he does have Jadon and Boz right behind him, challenging him every way. Even the slightest mistake, the slightest release on a drift, and Boz and Jadon will overtake, get into that ace position. Ace from here would put them on track point, so it's vitally important that Epos stays in front.
Yep, this is absurd. This is 3 players within a 10th with only a corner left to go. Epos still holding the lead, and he will continue to hold the lead. Boz catching, but can't. 37 thousandths, and Epos holds off the charge, and they stay just a single point behind.
What a warrior. I think even if Divino was driving cleanly, I feel like he'd struggle to keep up. Jadon and Boz are just driving
so high,
so fast, so consistently. It's unreal right now. They've got 2 players that can drive within 2-3 tenths of world record consistently, and only one on the side of Moonveil. It does seem that the pendulum is swinging in Geese Can Fly's favour. If it hasn't already, they're 2-0 up in the series. They're 5-4 up in terms of game score. 1 or 2 more mistakes from Moonveil could be all it takes for Geese Can Fly to really get a foothold in this map and take the series.
Well, here's the problem. I don't even think it needs to be a mistake from Moonveil. It could just be Boz and Jadon having a round where both of them just have that little bit extra pace. They don't need much to just beat Epos in the round, as Boz is showing here ahead of Epos, although Epos will make the charge around this turn. The last big time loss or gain coming up in this corner, trying to get out with as much speed as possible. Dodge the wall on the right. Boz gets a slightly cleaner exit, gets the nose just about in front of Epos. Epos tighter on the inside though. It'll be faster downhill for Boz, catching but can't. Again runs out of track. Again Epos holds just to the line.
Epos is currently holding the floodgates back with both arms and his entire strength. Without Epos here, I feel like Geese Can Fly would be would be victorious already, but Epos every single round just denying Boz and Jadon by tenths of a second.
Yeah, the 3 fastest live times on this track, all Epos all the time, has been incredibly quick on this one, and will need to be once again. This time around, Jadon and Boz, great start from them, and an ace at any point is just going to blow this entire match wide open. This starts to become very scary when you're Epos and you see the 3 on your car. You know your teammate is behind you as well, but it's still very close, managing to overtake Boz and Jadon in Epos' sights as well.
Epos has to try and get Jadon here. Oh, he's no-slid. That looks like it could be the dagger blow. Ace formation. Divino has to clutch up here, has to push, gets the call from Epos. Divino trying to full send, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Boz with a slightly awkward line. Divino, oh, I thought he'd overtaken. It is the ace for Geese Can Fly. 9 points, only 1 left, Nua. It was so close, and then it went away.
That's heartbreaking. That was so close to Divino stepping up. Heroic for the team. Would still have been Geese Can Fly on 8 points. They still would have been close. Divino's in the pole. They needed an ace. I think that's it. I think we're at a point where we start talking about Geese Can Fly as your Trent on track champions.
Worthy champions. This is a champion's performance here. Like, Epos has tried his absolute best to try and stem the bleeding. Ultimately, Jadon and Boz just look like the superior duo here, don't they? They're neck and neck. Their pace is incredible. Their consistency's been incredible. I don't know why we ever doubted them.
Yeah, absolutely. They were the favourites potentially coming into this tournament for a lot of people, and they have shown why time and again. Whoever came at them, nobody able to take them down. They have looked superlative over the course of this weekend, especially Jadon, I think in particular. A very pleasant surprise in how good the pace has been for Jadon as well. You expect it from Boz, you expect it for Epos, but to see Jadon making these rounds as close as they have been, as he will be the player who secures second place and secures that point for them as well. It's Geese Can Fly taking down Trent on Track 2020-25. They were worthy champions over Moonveil in the end.
Yeah, they were the best team from the get-go, really. 3-1 in the upper bracket. They've done even better here. We said maybe it could be closer. I think Epos definitely took a step up. Like, the times he was driving was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, Boz and Jadon, the superior duo, worthy champions.
Yeah, super fun to see them play like that. To get the sweep in the grand finals as well. After, you know, they did drop a map earlier in the tournament to the same team. There will be lots of what ifs. There will be a lot of questions about how picks could have maybe gone differently. Maybe Moonveil could have gone for soccer, not football earlier on in it as well. Then question marks over exactly how things went. But with all of those what ifs aside, I think it's very hard to envision a world with how Geese Can Fly were driving where they didn't still find a way to win that finals.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we can even take a look at the bracket just to recap the whole event. That would be good to see how both teams have come through. So Geese Can Fly 3-0 versus Retirement Home, 3-1 versus Evo, 3-1 versus Moonveil, and then a 3-0. So they only lost 2 maps out of 12 the entire weekend. Yeah,
I mean, shockingly impressive from them as well. But you don't want to hear us ramble about it. We don't know anything. We just talk fast when the action is on. So to actually break down what happened in that grand finals, we're going to throw it on over to the host desk for a little while to talk about our final match of the day.
Yes, congratulations to Geese Can Fly for winning Trent on Track 2025. And what a way to do it. Only losing 2 maps throughout an entire event. Flawless.
It was such a dominant performance in the final and such a consistent performance from both players. You know, each map felt like we saw draw, and then eventually one team would get the ace, and every single time at one team it was Geese Can Fly. The score would jump to like 9-6, 9-5, and that would be map over.
Yeah, unfortunately, map 3, the floodgates were just opened a little bit and the pace just wasn't quite there for Divino. Unfortunate because he was looking really solid throughout that entire race. He was keeping up with arguably the 3 fastest drivers on the entire server, really, the entire tournament. Like, arguably the only person even close to the likes of Jadon and Epos was Josh in Evo, and Josh came 3rd. So, yeah, Divino, good on Divino for keeping up. They've been very impressive this weekend. They've kept up with the pressure, and be a good to see them moving forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's such an achievement by Jadon and Boz. I mean, Boz has won major tournaments before. This isn't this isn't new to him. He won the TML Tour Major Encore that we ran last year. You know, he's won almost every season of BIPL except one that he lost to Jadon. But for Jadon, this is a massive win. You know, a win at a LAN, a win of a Tier 1 tournament, it's a big deal in his progression as a player. He has rocketed onto the scene at such speed, and, you know, it wasn't like he was carried by Boz there. He was an incredibly good player in his own right.
There were certain points during the tournament where Jadon was the one doing the carrying.
Oh, for sure.
Again, Jadon sort of kept them in it in that first game against Moonveil a little bit, and in that game, it just completely solid work. And like, if we were going to give MVP performances, for me, it would be Jadon.
I'd have to consider it. I think by the time we got to the final, I think we finally saw Boz at like full strength. This is the Boz that we usually see online, and I don't think he's ever really dialed it in properly to a LAN until that moment. And you know, that was a very strong performance. But over the course of the entire tournament, Jadon was able to hit the ground running and consistently has been such a strong performer, never really giving any other team a look into the victory.
So yeah, it's incredible to see them, and we're going to hope to see we get more LANs in the future, especially here in the UK. And if we get more LANs in the UK, we're going to see more of these top players. Has been any sort of standout moments throughout the entire event? I know you've been involved with running the tournament, so you've been a lot of stress behind the scenes, but during the actual event itself, like, what's been the standout matches, for instance?
I think, to be honest, it probably has to be this grand final. I think this is really where we saw the best Trackmania being played. Some of those performances, like on a peak, Boz's performance, just 0.5 after 0.5 after 0.5, was incredibly impressive. I think you mentioned it, Padster. The two star players of our community showed up, Boz and Epos, but I think the most impressive performance, as you mentioned, was Jadon. I think he affirmed his place as not only the rising star, but maybe the next big thing in Trackmania competitive. And for me, I think his performance in that grand final, as you mentioned, was my highlight.
Yeah, an absolute prodigious performance, MVP worthy. Yeah, we'll give Jadon the MVP. I think that's fair.
We don't have an official.
Yeah.
We don't have an official
We don't have
medal
an
or
official
anything,
one.
but yeah,
We do have medals for the winners.
that
though.
is true.
But yeah, official casters analyst MVP will give to Jadon. He's absolutely deserved it, and that's what helped ultimately Geese Can Fly to taking home the grand prize, £740-ish.
Yep.
Get 2 trophies, medals, beautiful keyboards as well, and yeah, they've just been phenomenal all weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they've been absolutely incredible. Geese Can Fly. Really, always the favourites coming into the competition. I think whenever you come into a competition like this, you're always looking at your opponents, trying to see where you're going to rank. I think when you look on the side of Moonveil, Divino was trying to upset that rank today. You know, he came into this competition with one of the best players in the world as his teammate, and that's a lot of pressure to live up to. I think he was trying to perform above maybe where his median level would be, and I think we can't take anything away from what his performance was, not only today, but yesterday as well, across the whole competition. He showed up, he had some great performances on certain maps. Just in that final, I think he was a little bit surclassed. You know, some of the players around him just a step above.
Yeah, I think all weekend we've brought up Divino's name a lot, and there's sort of, if you can keep the consistency up, Moonveil's going to go far, and well, they did go far. They got to the grand finals. They ultimately played really well, but at the end of the day, like, Divino, not there just yet. But we get a little bit more line experience under the belt. We get more tournament experience under the belt. They could definitely be like a dangerous team in the future.
Well, yeah, I've got to say I've been really impressed by Divino's performance in this tournament. Obviously, you know, Epos, known quantity, one of the best players, but looking at that duo, my doubts in Divino were to the extent that, had I actually had time to fill in my pick'ems, I would have had them going out in 4th. I would have had them losing to probably Evo. They were my initial predictions. And he managed to prove me wrong, not once, by just getting Moonveil to the winner bracket final, but then also winning the lower bracket final against Evo. He proved me wrong twice. I didn't have them coming second. I'm really, really impressed by Divino. I would say this has been probably his best BITM tournament performance ever.
I think without a doubt, and you know, as I was mentioning, he set out a clear goal by teaming up with Epos. Epos is going to be aiming for the victory, and you're his teammate. You're going to have to try and get that done. Fortunately, not able to in the grand final, but as Pat just said, incredibly impressive. I think his best performance, maybe not in only a BITM competition, but potentially in any competition.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, so they shattered their own expectations. I think they definitely shattered our expectations. But ultimately, they just came up short. We're going to head to the trophy ceremony now. For our winners, Geese Can Fly. Thanks for watching. Track on Trent.
Thank you very much, Desk. Welcome to the end of it all, the medals and trophy ceremony for Trent on Track. This entire weekend has been a celebration of British and Irish Trackmania and the community we have around it, but we're here to celebrate some of you more than others, those of you who can drive the cars fast. And with that in mind, we're going to start with our third place team. Congratulations to Evo Esports for taking third place in this tournament. Oh, congratulations on your behalf. Thank you very much, Orion. So, look, hey, we just got to ask a quick couple of questions here. Thanks for the round of applause, Orion, as well. I mean, look, third place, fantastic performance in the tournament as well. Was this the goal coming in, and do you feel you exceeded it? Are you disappointed not to have gone further ultimately as well?
I'm disappointed in my own performance. Coming in, I thought we would get second. Josh thought we would get fourth, so, you know, it kind of equalized in the middle. Yeah, it was real fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it went fine. Not much else to say.
Yeah, completely fair. I mean, Import, you're here, so I'll ask you a quick question, I suppose, might as well. How are you feeling watching them this weekend?
I'm proud of them. I know they're not happy with the win, but I'm proud of them. I'll always be proud of them regardless of the result. And, you know, they made a big step. Josh making a big step to come out here. I believe his first LAN as well, if I'm correct. So, you know, Josh making big steps as well. I'm proud of them both and happy for the result.
Absolutely. I know we've really enjoyed watching you both this weekend. Looking forward to seeing you both in competition again in future. Thank you very much for joining me up here, and congratulations again. One more round of applause for our third place team. Moving on then to our two teams from the final. Starting off with the team that ultimately landed in second place, but they put up a hell of a fight on the way there. Congratulations for your second place. Commiserations on the loss in the finals. Moonveil. Obviously, it's a little bit rough bringing you up here right after the loss in the finals as well. But, I mean, how are you guys feeling about it after that match?
Still good. Made it to top two.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, our goal was top 4. We got top 2. Even though we got swept in the finals, I'm not too unhappy with how we did, to be honest. Pretty proud of us, I'd say.
How have you felt about the weekend as a whole then? I mean, your performances throughout, are you happy with what you left on track? Do you wish that there'd been a little bit more that you could give?
Some matches I was very happy with, some matches not so, but step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's completely fair. And I mean, Epos, if there's another British and Irish Trackmania LAN next time, going to win the next one?
Yeah, got to, I.
It's only fair. Well, thank you again. One more time, round of applause for Moonveil on their second place. And then finally, there's only one team left. The Goose is loose. The Geese can fly. Thanks for coming on over. Bozbez has already joined me, and Jadon will get here any second. Yeah, let's get a round of applause. Congratulations. I mean, look, fantastic performance in the finals as well. You did lose a game to Moonveil in the upper bracket finals. I know, a little bit awkward. How are you feeling? I mean, were you expecting that sweep in the finals then? Were you confident going in?
No, not really. A bit shaky. Yeah, well, just gonna, go in the match, see what you can do.
Completely fair.
Bit scared, of course. You're coming down, new setup and all that. So I was happy to play at least a bit consistently. So.
Yeah. That's great. Jadon, I think I don't want to be rude about this, but you surprised a lot of people with how good your performance was this weekend. I mean, you were up there on pace with everyone. How were you feeling coming into the tournament, and did you surprise yourself?
I mean, my goal going in was just to be consistent, be a good teammate to Boz, and I think I did that, so I'm kind of happy.
Boz, did he? Yeah. All right, well, before we cause too much friction in our winning team, congratulations again. We'll get one more round of applause, and we will get the trophies over here for Trent on Track. We're going to do a trophy race here, so I need everyone, a bit of a drum roll, a bit of a... Oh. Congratulations to Geese Can Fly. They did indeed prove it. They got all the way over the moon at the end here. Thank you so much to everyone for coming out to Trent on Track as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm not going to try and thank everyone who's involved from the university, but you've been absolutely wonderful hosts for the British and Irish Trackmania community this weekend. We really appreciate it. Everyone who showed up, thanks for coming out. Everyone who watched, thanks for watching. Everyone who donated to the prize pool, that's important, and thank you as well. It's been great. This has been Trent on Track. We're done now. We're signing off, and we will hopefully see you all again in the future.